Hello, everybody. I am 5 minutes late because I was working on getting my voice to sync with my voice, if that makes sense, because I've been having an echo, and after that, there was a delay. So, settings are fun, but I think I got it all fixed and figured out. If you see any issues with it or hear any issues, just let me know in the chat and I'll do what I can to fix it, but likely nothing's going to happen because I have messed with those settings like a million times now. So today we're going through monetizing content, but specifically with Patreon. So I'm very excited about that. I think, yes, I have Patreon right behind it. I did that on purpose because I wanted to show you guys inside of my Patreon as well. But before I get started, okay, so there we go. I just wanted to make sure that my chats were coming up so that in case you guys say anything, I can actually see you. Okay, and then also I'm making sure that my presentation, like I'm at work or something, can be seen as well. So, like I said, today we're going to go into monetizing using Patreon. Let me go to my notes as well. I just need to make those smaller because, like, they're giant. And I don't need it to be giant. I just need to be able to see it. That's it. Okay, so let's get into this. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's live session where we explore the transformative journey of turning your creative anything into a profitable venture. I'm thrilled to have you join me as we delve into the intricate world of the content monetization world of Patreon. Whether you're here to fuel your curiosity or find inspiration or discover actionable strategies to apply to your own creative pursuits, this is designed to offer you creators out there, all kinds, bloggers, vloggers, podcasters, artists, and more, ways to monetize. But let's face it, navigating this vast ocean of possibilities can be as challenging as it is exciting. That's where today's live comes in. Tonight, I want to break down, well, at least with Patreon, some and Patreon alternatives, some solutions that you might be looking for with monetization. So first and foremost, though, I am going to give you all my intro.
In our live tutorial, going to ask you a million questions. If you're hitting into organize, you
Okay, that was always fun, right? But I gotta do the intro. You know what I mean? I gotta do the intro. Okay, so I'm sure that's not what you were looking for, but that's okay. I just wanted you to know a little bit more about who GBR Life was. But let's get started with understanding content monetization. It's crucial to grasp not only what it means to monetize content, but why it's essential for the sustainability of your creative endeavors. And hold on one second because I just noticed that my chat just dropped. Where are you at? There you are. Okay, so monetization is the process of converting your creative output, be it blogs, videos, art, podcasts, or any other form of content, into a source of income. I also forgot that I should probably change that. But beyond the basics, monetization is about recognizing the value that you bring to your audience and finding ways to receive value in return. Duh, right? Usually creators face the dual challenge of trying to stand out while also staying financially viable. Makes sense, right? And monetization isn't merely about making money. It's about creating a business model that supports your long-term goals and enables you to continue producing content that resonates with your audience. It involves a strategic approach to engage with your followers and turning their enthusiasm for your work into a reliable revenue stream. It provides sustainability, independence, community building, and reinvestment. And it works by utilizing methods like advertising, subscriptions, sales of products or services, donations, and, as we all know, crowdfunding. But let's talk about the specific platform we all know about, and this entire presentation is mostly discussing, is Patreon. So, founded in 2013, Patreon has emerged as a cornerstone for creators across all genres by enabling a direct relationship between creators and their most dedicated fans called patrons. This relationship is created by the features that Patreon allows creators to provide. I am going to say I have no affiliation with Patreon other than I have a Patreon account. But features like membership tiers with content gating, giving each Patreon benefits and connection based with their price preferences. The content can include behind the scenes content, early access videos, exclusive photos or posts, or even personal interactions like live chats. Again, all of this is based on the price that the patron or patron, however you say it, is willing to pay. And whatever the creator feels is worth that extra, because you're doing extra, that can all be afforded, if that makes sense. So it's about kind of finding that even ground with the patrons and the creator. So the communication with really what I'm trying to say here is you're going to know what price points that you're going to want to do based on that communication. And you also are going to figure that out by having that true community feel. So you may like change it up a little bit across social media and your personal relationships in that sense as well. But there's also the joy of analytics and what is it called? Insights. Which is crucial for creators to know what is actually resonating with your community, right? And then there is the integration of Patreon that offers to make your life as a creator easier, and the content offered for your patrons. And of course, there's the much more entertaining integrations, which I will show you a couple so you can understand a little bit more of what I actually mean. I should also show you the key features of Patreon on the screen so you can see what I'm actually talking about. Anyways, so the integrations include WordPress, Discord, MailChimp, YouTube, Twitch, Shopify, podcast hosting platforms, but also kind of podcast hosting, Podbean, and Libsyn. I always have a hard time saying that name. And then crowdfunding platforms like Kickstart and tools like Google Analytics, which is really, really, really good, especially when you're trying to figure out what's working with your audience, but also the audience you might want to bring in. So kind of a big deal. So using Patreon can give creators stable income, and I'll get a little bit more into why, creative freedom, and community engagement that you may have been looking for. I know it's one of my favorites, but there are alternatives. But the best way to get started with Patreon is to first determine what unique rewards that you can offer the community that you plan on building. So, for example, I would ask all of you, what rewards would you like to see with GBR Life? That's essentially where you get started with your own audience. What do people want, right? And you don't even always have to ask, because remember, you're going to be looking at the Google Analytics or analytics and insights in general. But that's like the first thing. Before you even create it, if you could, just go ahead and ask the question, what would you like to see? What do people want? Behind the scenes, exclusive content, that kind of thing. So it gives you an idea also of what your audience is looking for, so you know if Patreon is also going to be right for you. Okay, I haven't gone into the disadvantages yet. And make sure to let me know in the comments if there's any questions or if you have any actual ideas that you want me to add to my Patreon. But let's talk about also the alternative. So actually, let me go before going into the advantages and disadvantages. Let's look at some of the alternatives. One of the first alternatives is Padilla. Padilla is an all-in-one platform that provides creators with the tools to sell digital products, host online courses. So that's a big one. Hosting online courses. I did not say that with Patreon. Not that you can't do that there, but you kind of see where this one's going. The first thing I said to you is it provides creators with the tools to sell digital products, hosting online courses, and it offers memberships without worrying about the technical complexities of running an online store. In other words, it's kind of ease of use. It's a little more user-friendly. Not to say that Patreon isn't, but Padilla is actually a little more user-friendly. Really, it removes the burden of dealing with multiple systems by integrating everything into a single user-friendly interface. This makes it an excellent choice for creators who want to diversify their revenue streams beyond simple content subscriptions. So you can see right here, overview, key features. Did I have drop downs? I did. Okay, good. I wanted to make sure because you can find my presentation directly on gbrlive.com. So if you want to look at any of this closely, you can just go ahead over there and do that. And I wanted to make sure that it was easy. But overall key features, robust storefront, comprehensive online course creation. And I think that's really one of the reasons why I keep saying that is because a lot of people use Padilla for online course creation instead of Patreon. And that's what it's more known for. So if you've heard of Padilla, that's one of the reasons you may have heard of Padilla. And then also, I was saying also, but I was saying customizable at the same time. So that was a strange word that I just created. So that was fun. But so you can see the entire thing right there. So let's talk those key features that I just actually said. But the digital products and downloads. So Padilla allows you to upload and sell any type of digital product. So that includes ebooks, PDFs, cheat sheets, audio files, and more. The platform handles everything from hosting files to securely processing payments, so you can focus on creating great content. And then the online courses, one of Padilla's standout features, like I keep saying, because it has an actual course builder. You can create comprehensive online courses with video lessons, quizzes, and interactive content. The platform supports unlimited hosting for your video content, which is a significant advantage for creators who produce extensive video-based courses. And I'm going to point out, Patreon does allow you to have videos galore, but there is a limit. You actually, once you hit the limit of however many hours you add, you actually have to ask them to provide you more hours to expand your videos. So that's something to consider where Padilla does not have that issue. Memberships with Padilla, you can set up a site where fans pay a reoccurring fee for continuous access to your content. This can include exclusive articles, course materials, videos, or even community access. Memberships are flexible, allowing you to provide tiered levels, just like Patreon, based on different pricing structures, marketing, and email tools. And Padilla gives built-in email marketing tools, allowing you to send newsletters, course updates, and promotional emails directly through the platform. It also provides marketing features like pre-launch courses, coupon codes, and affiliate marketing, which helps you maximize your reach and earnings. I'm going to add and say, what's the difference here with Patreon? Well, Patreon, I told you, has integrations. Padilla is basically saying, oh no, we'll already have that in our site. So in one case, you're using other tools along with, on the other hand, it's all in one. It's a true all-in-one platform. But that doesn't necessarily make it better either, because it does have a centric focus. And if you already have a website, for example, Padilla may not be your best bet unless you're doing online coaching maybe. But then on the other hand, there are places like what I use with Squarespace, which may allow you to do that directly in there as well. So you do have to figure out, again, when you're asking your audience, okay, well, what is it that you guys want from me that I can offer, so that you already know, because people are already asking you those things. You look, as I go through the alternatives, you look for the best one to work with you on what you're offering, because that's the main point here. Then there's also webinars. This is still Padilla. Webinars. So for creators who engage with their audience through live sessions, Padilla offers integrated webinar capabilities. So you can host a live webinar, workshop, or Q&A session in Padilla, providing valuable live component to your digital offerings. So why use Padilla? Well, it's simple. I mean, I think and it's all in one. I mean, I feel like that just makes the most sense, right? All right, so next up, selfie. I think it's selfie, but it could be selfie. I keep telling myself I need to go look up how to say this, but I don't actually know how to say it. Also, want to say hi to everybody who's joining. I see you all coming in, and I just want to say a quick hi while I'm getting a little water break. I am still sick. So I'm doing the right thing and having my water breaks through. I'm learning my lesson from the live on Monday, where I try to just power through it. Not always a good thing. All right, so selfie. So the features here, it's celebrated for its user-friendly interface. That's the first thing. It allows creators to set up a store in a matter of minutes. You can customize your storefront to match your brand, add logos, change colors, adjust layout without needing any web development skills, like none. There's digital and physical products that you can add, obviously, with a storefront. It's versatile, handling both digital downloads like ebooks, videos, music, and software, and physical goods. This makes it an excellent choice for creators who offer products. And there's print on demand. So for those selling merchandise, Selfie offers a print on demand service, which means they handle everything from printing to shipping once an order is placed. This feature eliminates the need for inventory management, and it makes it easier for creators to offer a wide range of products without upfront investment. So this is not only your Patreon alternative, it's also a Printful and Printify alternative. I can't say it would be a Shopify alternative, because Shopify is not print on demand, it's a storefront. But Printful, Printify, and I know there's other ones out there, but this is another one. Selfie. You tell me. How do you say this? So the marketing tools. So this Selfie, it comes equipped with built-in marketing tools to help you promote your products, which is actually huge, because if you were to go with, like, for example, Shopify, I say that I think that Printful offers it as well. I don't actually know. I should look into that. But they do have apps is the word I'm trying to say. There are apps that you can associate with Printful and Printfy and Shopify and all of those places that you have to pay for. They're fantastic. I'm not going to say they're not, but it's not built in. You have to go in and look for that extra app, I think. But it's possible that Printful also has that. So if you use that, you should tell me that as well. Let me know. Comments. Chat, people. Chat. I'm having a good day. Anyways, so to track your store's performance, you have detailed analytics, and you can, of course, use those to adjust your strategies accordingly. And then there's subscription sales. In addition to one-time sales, Selfie supports subscription-based products. So this feature is ideal for creators who want to offer memberships or ongoing access to content through their storefront. Whatever that is going to depend on you. I don't know what that is because I don't offer that. But you can tell me, what type of products are those? I'd love to hear about it so I can look into it, look into those tools, and do more reviews and live sessions all about that. And then tell you all, because I don't gatekeep. That's why we're talking about this. Also don't gatekeep. Obviously, we're going to go next into... My hair is annoying me. There's just this one piece. It's so annoying. Okay. So what you may have noticed, or what you may not have noticed, is that Selfie is more of an all-in-one platform over Padilla and Patreon, but in a completely different way, because it's more about direct sales, whereas the other is about online courses. And Patreon is about how you can integrate. So you can kind of see they all do different things, which is why you have to know what you're actually doing and what you're offering before you go directly to Patreon and go, everybody's using Patreon, I should probably use Patreon. Patreon may not be the right fit for you. That's my opinion. There are other tools out there and they're as good. I also see, and I got started with all of figuring out what was right for anybody when I found out about the link in bio tools and sites. And I was like, okay, but which one actually works best for me? Once I started looking into all of those things, I realized that they had so many different kinds and they offer different things. So it's in my eyes, a good idea to actually determine what it is that you want before you just go out there and create it. Because believe you me, it's also a pain to have to go and take everything in one location and move it to the next. Unless, there are some of those out there as well that make it where it's like, oh, just export it. Just press this button and then press this other button. Boom, it's done. But now let's talk about buy me a coffee. Literally, buy me a coffee. I'm waiting while I'm drinking my water. You're right. I shouldn't drink coffee this late at night. I hear you. But tomorrow I expect coffee at my desk, right here, by one of you. So you all are looking at me here because I'm looking at you there. But I'm looking at all of the different things. Oopsies. I'm looking at all the little things over here, and I'm like, you buy me a coffee. You buy me a coffee. You buy me a coffee. I'm not buying you all a car. You buy me a coffee. But really, it's actually also a website or a platform, whatever. This one is more donation-based. I'm just going to get straight into it. Which is where the name comes from, buy me a coffee, because it's casual, and you can show appreciation by... let me do that again. Buying a coffee or just giving a donation. And the features are similar to the other platforms in the ease of use. Buy Me a Coffee prides itself on user-friendly interface that requires minimal setup. And I think that most of them are all about trying to be as minimal setup as possible. But I am going to say that Patreon isn't as minimal setup. They may say they are, but they are not. Okay. So with Buy Me a Coffee, creators can sign up and start receiving donations in just a few minutes. Again, I have no affiliation with any of these places. So everything that you hear from me, I'm just letting you know what I know. That's it. But anyway, so they make it accessible to those who are less tech savvy, which I will say that Patreon, Selfie, Padilla, and Buy Me a Coffee really do cater to people who aren't necessarily the most tech savvy. However, I would say that Patreon does require you to be a little more tech savvy because of the integrations of having to use like, MailChimp, because MailChimp is not necessarily the most user friendly platform out there. It's amazing, but it's not user friendly. So if you want to create a newsletter, which I'll be doing that in another, I don't remember if I'm doing that as a review or a live stream or what. I have to look at my schedule, but I will be going into how to create a newsletter with oh my god, with MailChimp, but it's not super tech savvy, and I've had to go and look at different YouTube videos myself just to figure out how to do things with MailChimp. So if you have to already go do that and then integrate that into I want to say selfie, but it's not, with Patreon. Obviously, that's not going to be the easiest or make the most sense for you to go do that if you're not tech savvy. On the other hand, I wouldn't say that you couldn't figure it out either, or that you really have to use those tools as well. It just depends on what you're offering. But with Buy Me a Coffee, getting back into that, supporters have the option to make one-time donations, or they can sign up for one-time donations, which does provide flexibility in how they choose to support creators, which can be beneficial for creators who produce content sporadically or who are looking for a more non-commitment based form of support. And there's no monthly fees, and they're not going to charge any monthly fees of any and in any way, and take any cut of any earnings, and they really only charge a small transaction fee. That's how they get their money. Is when you get paid, they get paid, but just a little bit. And it kind of works with everybody. Again, it's a very casual donation based situation. And you do have some integration with content. You can add in buttons and links into the web, like your websites and blogs and social media pages, making it really straightforward for fans to support you as a creator or whatever it is that you're doing directly from wherever you're doing it. So that link can go directly into your social media, but it can also go into their stuff as well. Very simple though, just a link. So it's probably one of the easiest out there in that regards. So membership features. Beyond simple donations, they also allow creators to set up monthly tiers. Like I said, they do offer the monthly if somebody wants to do that. So you can do behind the scenes content, early access, exclusive downloads, just normal, like all the other platforms. And this one is really good for the community feel. It's really more about that direct fan engagement with a major flexibility with monetization. Plus, you get payouts very quick. So essentially, you're not waiting for your money with Buy Me a Coffee. With the other ones, you're waiting. But the main issue here is the lack of stability. So what you notice is that with all of them, Patreon monthly tiers. You could make one of those free if you wanted to with Patreon. But either way, you have tiers, and you're going to get however many people are part of your memberships, you're going to get your monthly income. Same thing with Padilla and same thing with Selfie. But with Buy Me a Coffee, there's no stability because you don't know who's going to pay, when they're going to pay, if they're going to donate, any of that stuff. Yes, technically somebody could go and become a member of Patreon and then cancel their subscription. But on the other hand, you know, you got that month and the next month, okay, you lost. So you're more focused on getting people to want to come back or promoting yourself within Patreon or those places. Whereas Buy Me a Coffee, it's more like, hey, I just created this piece of art. I clearly need more water. And I was trying hard. I was trying. Which also means that with Buy Me a Coffee, you also have to stay very involved with your community to make that a little more consistent. So now that you know about all the different platforms, again, this that you're seeing right in front of you is available on gbrlife.com. So you don't have to worry about, you know, trying to find it anywhere. It's right there on gbrlife.com. And it shows you the comparison between Patreon, Padilla, Selfie, and Buy Me a Coffee. So that you don't have to do that. It's already created for you. And what are you supposed to be considering? Obviously, the type of content that you produce. I mean, I feel like that's number one. What are you doing? That's going to make a big difference, which one you're going to select, obviously. Because Patreon, for example, is great for creators who provide a continuous stream of content. And they can offer exclusive experiences or perks. That's really what it was made for. It's like behind the scenes stuff. Padilla is more for educational courses, webinars, that kind of stuff. So you're teaching classes, look at Padilla. Selfie is better for digital products, physical goods, that kind of stuff. Buy Me a Coffee is for somebody who's simple, no frills, just looking for connection. And hey, if you want to donate, go ahead. How are you going to know which one is going to be actually best for you? Yes, the content you're doing, but also, and I've said this many times, knowing your audience. Because, you know, you may be thinking, oh, what they want is exclusive behind the scene content. And really, they don't want behind the scene content. They just want more videos. So you need to know that. So you have to ask them the question. What do you want? Why? What are you doing? How's your day going? So really, in all of them, you still have to be very involved with your community, but it's bringing that community. It's creating that community that pays you. I feel like that's a good community. I like that community. Do you want to be part of my community? And buy me a coffee? Look what I'm offering you. A presentation. Like you're at school. No, but I find that creating something like this is better because you're seeing it directly in front of you. I could say the words a million times in front of you, and I've done it in the past, but everybody's like, what? I won't remember that. And I feel you on that. I wouldn't remember that either unless I had a notepad and pen. You know what I mean? But who has notepads and pens? Like, who does that? Who does that? Okay, I do that. But still, a presentation directly there for you. Plus, I don't know if you can download it or not, but I do have it available on gbrlife.com. How many times do I have to say that? That's all I have to say. Anyways, but with memberships and subscriptions with all of these, Patreon, Padilla, they allow you to build a subscriber base that pays a regular fee. The e-commerce and sales features that Selfie provides is more about getting the purchases. So that's how you're going to get your pay. But of course, out of all of them, if you're looking for the most ease of use, and not anything that I just said in any capacity, just go to Buy Me a Coffee. Just go set that up. And in a way, that could be like a stepping stone for you if you feel like that's kind of what you're looking for, is just a stepping stone into it. Or Patreon. But with Patreon, a little more of a learning curve, and you're also going to have to think about, it's a little more involved to get it set up. And I'm going to show you that. It's a little more involved. It's not hard, but it's a little more involved. Just saying. And I don't know. Let me see what's next up on my... I have a pyramid. Forgot about the pyramid. But really, it's everything that I was already saying. Evaluate your content, assess your audience, consider monetization goals, explore platform features, make the right choice. I like that I said make the right choice, because it's like, hey, figure it out. Make the right choice. Yeah, pyramid. That's what I'm saying, Liquid Cow. Pyramids. Pyramids. Also, the Egyptians were amazing. Also, Liquid Cow, you're amazing. You are my favorite of all of the audience peoples who come to my live. You know why you are. You're my favorite. Who else wants to be my favorite? Oh, hey, India. Hey. You get to actually see my presentation this time. Hearts to you too, Liquid Cow. Hearts to you. Ooh, I'm getting some roses from India. I'm getting so much love right now. This is amazing. This is so awesome. India, I want to say, since you just joined, first and foremost, you can find my presentation directly on, what is it called? GBR Life. But also, if you want to know about, if you want to use like Patreon, or the Patreon alternatives that I was talking about today, this is, of course, so everybody knows, I always upload this right after onto YouTube, so you will be able to access this video right after. I am streaming on YouTube. I'm streaming, so everybody knows, I am currently streaming on Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I want to say there's more, but I don't know. I think it's the 5 platforms. So, and I am using, so if anybody wants a tutorial on Streamlabs, just let me know and I will do a live about that as well, because Streamlabs is how this happens. And I love Streamlabs, I'm not going to lie. And TikTok finally allowed me access to go ahead and use it directly off of Streamlabs. So it's just all in one location now, which is very exciting, because that's how I'm able to show my presentation now. So this is for everybody on TikTok. I was always saying on TikTok, like, oh, you can't see my presentation. And it was very annoying because I have a pyramid. You see the pyramid? It's awesome. Okay. But like, so for example, you know, I've got a whole bunch of stuff here. It's interesting. It's available on gbrlife.com. It's available to just go watch on YouTube afterwards. I'm going to just keep plugging myself. I'm just going to keep saying it. No, but like you can see all of these different things that I have available to everybody. And I couldn't show that on TikTok. It was, and I'm not saying it was boring, but it's like, you know. Oh, absolutely. Deal. India, you got it. I will do a tutorial with Streamlabs. I'm not going to say that this is the easiest platform to use, but once you get it, it's not plug and play, but once you get it, once you get it set up, then it's plug and play. Because even then, when I have, because last live I was like, I had an echo last live, or it could have been the live before. The point is I had an echo at one point, and it was funny because I didn't find that out until afterwards, and I was like, oh joy, there's an echo. But I couldn't hear. It's one of the reasons I'm actually wearing my headphones, is to make sure I can hear if I have the echo this time. But you have to set up the settings within Streamlabs a specific way in order for certain other things not to happen. So I'll be sure to go into that. But yeah, so one of the reasons I absolutely love Streamlabs is exactly what you just said. Wow, that's a lot of platforms. I say to all of you, I love Patreon and Padilla, all those different places. But if you want to connect with your audience and you're interested in doing live sessions, Streamlabs. But there's also, and I'm going to say, there is a user-friendly, and you know what? I'm going to make that the live session. I'm going to go into Streamlabs, do a tutorial, and then I will talk about Restream as well, because Restream is another multiple platform tool that allows you to stream to a bunch of locations, and it's way more user-friendly because it's more of a website versus Streamlabs is a website, but it is also an app on your desktop. And you do need a good graphic card in order to stream Streamlabs on your desktop. So if you have a good computer, Streamlabs is also another good one. And I'm already giving away the information. So instead of doing that and talking about the revenue growth that you can have 5 times of revenue growth and 25% more supporter retention and $10,000 monthly income using Patreon or your alternatives, just so you know that, all of you, if you're interested in these things. But that is also why, at the end of the day, if you are doing content, yeah, you want to connect with people and sell things and whatnot, but you do also want to have consistent income. And that is the point of not only going live. So yes, let's add that to this, going live, but also using tools like Patreon, Padilla, Selfie, and Buy Me a Coffee. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, Buy Me a Coffee is kind of a I wouldn't use that. I wouldn't use that for consistency. That's just like you made a painting, and you're like, hey everybody, I made a painting. This is my interpretation of people who paint. Hey everybody, I made a painting. Look at my painting. I'm chill. Every single painter that I have ever met are like the most calm people, except for when they're not. It's a really weird dynamic. But then it makes sense, too, now that I'm thinking about it, because that means that they go paint all of their emotions. I don't know. I'm just making up words. But let me show you inside. This was much longer than I realized. Key takeaways, that's cool. But let me show you inside of the Patreon. So, with my no members in Patreon, and here's why. I basically don't tell anybody that I have Patreon because I do not have it really fully set up. Oh my goodness. India. That was so nice. If it makes you, well, I don't feel any better. But what I was going to say is that I actually think the same thing whenever I see you. I'm like, wow, she's so pretty. I think that everybody from the Cove is so pretty. Every time I see, like, you see all the little photos and stuff, and then when you actually see people going live or the videos and stuff, you're just like, wow, that's that person? How are you guys not modeling? Jeez. I think we all just love each other. We're all so full of love and light. That's what's going on here. That's life. Also, we'll just say that I'm really loving my home these days because it's feeling very light and bright. And there was a new moon. That is all. Going into Patreon. So again, I don't really tell anybody that I have a Patreon because I haven't fully set it up yet. But if I go over to my memberships, I did create this, and I'm going to give everybody a little hint. If you want to get into any of this. Like if you're like, I don't know how to write a tier. Let me actually expand this. I don't know how to write a tier. Like that's so complicated. You don't have to know how to do that. Go to ChatGPT. Tell ChatGPT everything that you know or that you want to offer and whatnot, and then have it create what you. I should just use the mouse. I don't know why. Just use this. I'm sorry. Just use ChatGPT, and it will actually spit this out for you, and then you can finagle it however you want. And then in addition to that, the photos that I created, I actually got from Midjourney. So if you want to make it fun and entertaining and anything like that, get your photos from Midjourney and your like tier setup information from ChatGPT. But of course, it's what you're going to actually do. So make sure that it actually makes sense if you're looking to use Patreon. But here's the reason why I want to say that Patreon is both great and not great. And India, since you're on here, I'm going to go to that first. So if I go over to create and I say audio, you can actually embed your URL over here. You can select an audio file. You can add it to a collection that you would create. So that's one way to create audio. But no, that's not it. Shop? Yes. But you can also add products. No, that's not it. See, and I can't even remember exactly where everything is. The point is, in here, you can actually add Shopify. Oh my God, Spotify directly, as long as you have the RSS feed. So you can drop your podcast directly into here because Patreon is great with the integration. I literally just had this up earlier and I cannot remember. Okay, so here is one way to add your socials, but I wanted to show you specifically settings, no, community. And you can see why I'm like, it's like you have to actually get it set up. And it's not my main thing, but I will also show you one of the reasons why is because I use Squarespace. And Squarespace is phenomenal in a lot of other ways too. So because I can add literally everything in Squarespace. And so sometimes I forget that I even have this. And right now I have nobody there because I'm not telling anybody. But this is what, oh my God, Patreon looks like on the inside. But no, I need to show you. You can literally add Spotify. And I just saw this earlier today. Oh, the annoyance of this. It's just because I'm live, everybody. It's because I'm live and I'm like, hey, you can do this. And now I can't. Oh, there it is. Settings. Right here. So now I have found it. Under settings, podcasts and audio, you can sync with Spotify. You'll need to set up your podcast RSS feed before you can get started. So this is a really great option if you have a podcast, because even if you're using a hosting platform, this is very hands-off once you get it set up. But you see where it's like you have to kind of know where it is. Not the hardest thing in the world. It probably took me 2 minutes to actually find it. But, you know, there's a lot of... What I like and don't like about Patreon is the fact that it integrates with so many things. But at the same time, it's like you have to know where to go to integrate it. It almost looks like it can't do it. It looks so basic, and yet it can do so much, and yet you have to know where it is. So that's the only issue there. But it is a really good tool to, again, have that monetization become stable, consistent. And I think that's what most creators have issues with, which is basically what I was saying the entire time. That's one of the biggest issues. And let me show you also Squarespace. pull that up real quick. I thought I had it up already. I know you can't see it. That's on purpose because obviously it's going to end up showing some personal information. And I don't want to show all my personal information. Not just yet. Okay. All right. So if I go into my blog, well, before I do that, going through here, again, you can do your podcast. You can add Discord, as I mentioned before in the earlier. Vimeo, right? Emails, you can create that newsletter. Remember, you can connect this with MailChimp. Billing schedule, you can see that people get charged on the 10th and they will be charged on that day, and then monthly on the 10th. And the point of this, that billing schedule, is for you to understand you're going to get paid at a specific time. Whereas Buy Me a Coffee is like someone buys something or donates to you and you immediately get paid. And then creating collections in here, super simple. You just press collections, you create a collection. You can manage your collections directly. Right here, you can manage your posts. I have all of my lives. So if you were to join today, you would have access to all of my lives. On gbrlife.com, I only put the lives from the following week. I don't keep them all there, and I will show you why. But on Patreon, I do have a large amount of video space. So while these will not be here forever, they're going to have a lot of the video for a very long time. And then insights. So as soon as I actually had members, you would be able to see directly right here active members, new members, canceled, and have a better idea of what people, like who's coming in, audience growth over time, literally it says that. But also you can see their activity. And so that's what's going to get you an understanding of what people also want, even if people are telling you something different, like what they're actually looking at. So this is kind of the inside of Patreon, giving you a better idea of what it can do. You can add moderators. Community is your chat, which I also think is really great too. So you can add announcements and things like that. You can create a post to add announcements, or you can just do it directly in the community chat. So you see, there's also a really great place, not just Patreon, but just in general, having these specific platforms on the side to make it so that you are able to have one location that you can access your audience no matter what happens. So for those people who are worried about, for example, certain platforms going away, you don't have to worry about that anymore because you have your community, you've set it up, and the people will still be there. So if you start going live somewhere else or do anything else, it's completely fine. You have your community. So at the end of the day, that's also a really good reason to do that. You could technically create a free tier and just bring your community over just so you have access to communicate with anybody at any time. But you do have to keep in mind that some of these platforms are looking to make their own money. So since that's the case, if you are not having any income coming in, you want to be mindful of, do you have to end up paying that platform at the same time too? Patreon, no, but the other platforms may have fees. You should look into that if you were to decide to go with another one. For example, Shopify is not one of the ones I discussed, but you do have to pay to have Shopify. And now I'm going to show inside of Squarespace. With Squarespace, now this isn't necessarily some place that you're going to do a whole bunch of tiers in the same capacity. It's a website. You do have to pay to have a website. But you can also now create a monetization pricing plan for your, oh, you can't see it. Let me fix that. You can create a pricing plan. And it's going to look almost exactly the same as Patreon in the sense that it's asking for a description, your benefits, and that's really it. So, and what's nice about doing it off of, if you happen to use Squarespace, which again, this was not part of the original presentation, but I kind of wanted to mention it. What's nice about this is that you have everything all in one place. So I'm creating tiers right here in Squarespace if I want to, but I don't have to just have a blog or tiers in that sense. I can also have people go over to see my vlog, or I was talking about my lives. You can see my lives right here with the presentations and the last live as well. For example, all in one place. You can go to any one of the blogs or vlogs or the podcasts, all in one place. So it's also easier for me to go live in one location, because I can also add the live stream if I want to. You can actually click on it and you'd see me right now, but I'm not going to press that just in case there's going to be like an echo or something. But to go live in one location, have my blog in one location, have my vlog in one location, and I'm still getting paid off of one, again, location. But if you're doing something a little bit differently, for example, if you're teaching classes, yeah, you could do that here in Squarespace, absolutely. But Padilla may actually be a better opportunity for you to create your community and have your monetization, as in your monthly revenue, consistent monthly revenue stream come in, and not have to worry about having all of the tools at your disposal within Squarespace or a website. No, you can just use Padilla and it has all the tools at your disposal. It's what you actually need. And you can still have a website, but the website is basically just directing everybody to go and sign up for your Padilla, for example. So ultimately, you have to figure out what works for you. And I'm just going to leave this here so you can remember that GBR Life is awesome. And you want to go here. Go to GBR Life. Go to GBR Life. Also go to GBR. Okay. So anyways, but that does end this week's live. Let's go to my ending screen. It's one of my favorite things. I just set it up, which is ridiculous too because it's just a little... It's just one screen. But I was like, no, but this makes more sense. And it was a proud moment for me. Let me know in the comments if it's something when you get excited about the tiniest little things that you finally figure out and you realize, oh my God, this has been this easy the entire time. I don't know why I didn't just do it the whole time. Because that's what this screen is. But anyways, we've covered a lot of ground. From understanding various platforms like Patreon, Padilla, Selfie, Buy Me a Coffee, to identifying the right tools that align with your creative goals and audience needs. I hope you found the insights shared today valuable and that they helped you on your journey to turning your passion into a sustainable business. And as we conclude, I encourage you to reflect on everything that I've discussed. Remember, you can find it on gbrlife.com if you want to relook at it. And just consider how these monetization strategies can be integrated into your own creative endeavors. Remember, the path to successful monetization is unique for each creator, and finding the right platform is a crucial step towards achieving your financial and creative independence. Just do it. It's worth it. Next week's live, though, we're going to be exploring a topic that's incredibly important yet often overlooked: mental health coping strategies. We all have to understand and know how to cope. It's okay to cope with it, and you don't have to be alone with it, because it's not uncommon for anyone to face challenges like burnout, stress, any of that, anxiety. So next week, I'll dive into practical strategies that will potentially help you manage, because I'm not a health professional, just a few coping strategies that I feel may be beneficial. They may work for you. And if they don't, that's completely fine too. But you may want to tune in just to find some extra tools to add to your, I wanted to say one word, but I realized it's probably not a good idea to say that because of all the words and things that are banned in lots of different places. But it could be good to add into your pocket. So mark your calendars. I said that weird. So mark your calendars and join me again next Wednesday at the same time for the viral and not viral, vital discussion. You have a good night too, Liquid Cow. Once again, though, thank you, Liquid Cow and India and everybody else who joined me tonight. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any further questions or need additional guidance based on today's session. And check out the replays of the lives on YouTube, on Twitch, sometimes on Twitch, but definitely on YouTube and on gbrlife.com. And of course, subscribe to my Patreon. I do add all of the lives. You'll have access to that almost immediately, every single time. Pretty much it's a day apart. Sometimes it's the night of. If I'm feeling good, it's the night of, you know? But don't forget that GBR Life also has so much to offer with a blog, a vlog, a podcast, and a clothing line, including these lives on Wednesdays. And all right, I know, enough of that. You all have a wonderful rest of your night. And for goodness sakes, go to sleep already. My God, it's late. What are you doing? Why are you watching me? But seriously, come back next week. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Talk about mental health and resilience.